Welcome to the Daughters Project podcast. We're so glad you're here. Join us this season as we get to know some of our sisters, as well as women from all walks of life, as they gather around the mics every week. You can find out more about our work at thedaughtersproject.com and on social media at DaughterSTPaul. Enjoy today's episode.
Hello and welcome to the Daughters Project podcast. My name is Sister Tracey and I'm coming to you from Chicago.
And I'm Sister Benedicta and I'm here in Boston.
And this has been a great experience, hasn't it, Sister Benedicta, to just be able to talk about the gift of femininity and the gift of our womanhood, and all in relation to this wonderful book, A Place to Belong. But before we get into what we're going to be chatting about and all of the good stuff, we always like to start out by just talking about things that we've overheard in the convent. I think this season we would definitely be remiss if we didn't talk about one of our beloved sisters who has, she's been around a bit, but has such a tremendous way of being, I don't know.
Does.
A klutz? No. Yeah, that's part of it.
Yeah. I mean, I'm a klutz, but she has
Me
a
too.
gift.
So there's a specific charismatic quality to the things that she's encountered, endured,
That's
done,
for sure.
or has been done in relation to her.
Yeah, and the other thing is she's really been super active throughout her entire religious life, and I think every one of our sisters has probably lived with her. So everybody in the province knows her really well, and we all just absolutely adore this aspect.
We just love her.
Of who she is and what she brings to community.
Yeah. So I know at one point she celebrated a birthday and you were in community with her, right?
I was in community with her. And one of the things we did in this particular community was we would make like a special dinner and do some little decoration up in the dining room. And then we would use the intercom that went throughout the entire house and into the book center to just kind of say, okay, your birthday dinner is ready. Everybody come on up, you know. And I thought it would be cute, rather than doing like the standard all call, like
all
dinner
call.
bell.
Yeah.
And like rather than doing that, she loves Johnny Cash, right? So I thought it would be fun to turn on the intercom and just like hold a speaker playing Johnny Cash into the thing so that the entire house would just be filled with Johnny Cash's voice. And she was like, it was so surreal for her. She was walking through the hallways going, he's everywhere. How are they doing this? It's amazing. And it took her even longer to get to dinner because she was so amused by Johnny.
Yeah. And this is the thing, you know, I think sometimes as we get older, we get a little, I don't know, nothing surprises us, you know, and I really admire the wonder.
Yes.
She's been around longer than me, but she definitely has that almost like a childlike wonder.
She does.
And a capacity to be surprised and to be amazed. And
and to like pull that surprise and amazement out into the rest of the world. Like the rest of us kind of sit in the wonder with her.
Yeah, and she is very positive and sees the good. She can see the good, and she's been through stuff, but you know that's a quality that I really admire. Speaking of things she's been through, one of the stories she herself tells is back in the day, you know, when the sisters were novices and they were getting ready to make their first vows, we would do what was called vestition. And that was to be vested in the habit, which we still do. But to make the approach for that, the sisters had a practice of wearing simple, but a type of wedding dress. And so these dresses were dresses that they got that were not necessarily you were fitted for or anything of that nature. If anything, they were, you know, hand-me-downs from previous years. So she was going up in the chapel wearing her wedding dress, holding her habit that she was going to be vested in.
In a line of novices, I presume.
In a line of other sisters. And she said her mother was there. And, you know, from the back, they're all wearing white dresses with white veils. And her mom didn't know which one was her. And so she says she got to the altar, to the kneeler, and she said, somehow I don't know how it happened, but all of us kind of can imagine.
That phrase is
Her-
always scary coming out of her.
I know. Her foot got caught in the hem of the dress. And so when she went to kneel,
Oh,
it
dear.
just made like a slide. And so she just sort of slid off the kneeler, still holding her habit up. And she said her mom was like in the back of the chapel going, "Oh, that's my Linda."
There she is.
Mama knows. Yep, there's my girl. There's my girl. So delightful. And the beautiful thing about her is she can laugh at herself. And I think that's
for sure.
that's a quality we can all learn from. Sometimes we
Absolutely.
just have to laugh at ourselves. But the beautiful thing
Absolutely.
about this podcast, I think, has been an ability to appreciate ourselves and the giftedness of our femininity and the gift of being a woman, and just being able to witness it in other individuals' lives and being able to hear their stories and see how God works in the midst of an individual's personal experience. And so there's been moments throughout the season that I've had, like, moments of gratitude, just being in the position to be able to have these conversations. But I was just thinking maybe we could share like one or two moments that were really enlightening for us,
Mm-hmm.
because we're kind of like, we're here witnessing, in a sense, with our listeners, the power of God's presence and the ways that he's with his people, especially his daughters. So I don't know, Sister Benedicta, if something comes to your mind that you'd like to share. I know for me, one of the things that really struck me was hearing, and this I think almost in every story, just how God and his love is so specific and so tailored to our need, to where we are, to those kind of deficits in our hearts and in our lives, that it's like, our hearts are restless until they rest in you. There's a place in our hearts that will only be satisfied by the love and presence of God. And I felt like in each guest we had, I could see how he entered through these little doorways that were very personal and specific to that person. And just to me, that gives me so much hope, because it's easy to look at other people's stories and feel like, well, that's not me.
Yeah.
She's got it great and I don't, or I'm still struggling, or I just don't feel it, the love of God in that way. But that God has a way of approaching us and a relentlessness in his love for us that that isn't individual, and it's not generic. And I don't know, that really helps me to realize that whatever I'm living, even if I feel like I'm kind of running, there's no place that the Lord can't find me.
Yeah, I have a whole reflection about that. And I think one of the things too, as I'm reflecting over all the conversations that we've had, and even the letters in the book that we didn't have a chance to talk about.
Yeah, so many.
I know. I'm just thinking about all the different unique ways that God finds us, but also the ways in which he like invites us to reflect himself, to the world. And the ways that each of our lives are kind of a way of God having skin on, the way that we're called to be him to each other. And I think, like, as you're saying, one of the things that I was kind of reflecting with as I was preparing to come here today was, I'm not an artist. I'm not a mother. I'm not a missionary to a foreign country. I'm not any of these things. And I think it could be easy for a listener to be sitting here saying, okay, well, I'm not any of those things. I'm not a religious sister. I don't even know what God's calling me to yet. I don't know what he wants.
I don't even know about God, period.
Right. I don't know if he wants me. I don't know if he exists, and or even like, I do know what kind of invitation he's given me, but I just am having a hard time accepting it, or I run away from it.
Yeah.
Or, I find myself in these temptations on a regular basis, or whatever. And I think every single one of us could use these phrases sometimes, myself included. And I was praying about that, and I just thought about like the story in the book of Hosea and how God asked him to take a wife who started off unfaithful, right? Like it wasn't like he went and found this young woman who was like desiring to enter into a relationship with him and then kind of became unfaithful. But she was a prostitute from the beginning. And that's who God called into relationship with him. And then it wasn't a surprise when she wandered off. And it wasn't just that, you know, like God's message through Hosea wasn't just that he takes us back when we come crawling back on our hands and knees and begging him to.
Right.
But it was that he chases us out into the wilderness and he finds us and he cleans us up and he invites us and he draws us back to himself. And he brings us back with himself on his arm.
Yeah.
That seeking and that finding and that just incredibly uniquely different relationship that each woman has with her Lord, with her family, with all the things that she's called to do. Yeah, I just think that's really beautiful. I was praying a lot with that passage that says that we are God's handiwork and we were created for a good work. He created us for something that he already had planned in advance. And that word handiwork is the same word in Greek that we get the word poetry from. Like it's his artistry, his beauty, his something he delights in, not just like, it's not a tool, you know? Like there's a difference between a poem and a tool. They both maybe do something for the artist, but it's pretty different. And just thinking about how unique that is and how kind of cool that is.
You're actually making me think about the idea of Jesus, you know, being sent. Like he had a mission and the mission came out of his identity, who he was. And I felt like in all of our conversations, we were seeing different ways that God has sent each of us out, but also he is on a mission to us. Like, he's not relenting in like returning to us and also in our living and struggling, returning to him. So it's this constant, it's not just a one direction thing, you know? It's this mutual like give and take and coming and going. And I feel like that is so alive. I know when something's not right, when I feel like isolated or bound or stuck. I might not know what it is, but I know something ain't right, man.
Yes.
I need to like, either I need to make a move toward Jesus or I have to allow him to make a move toward me, because it's easy to sort of get, if you will, like bound up in that stuckness. And a living thing is always moving and always changing. And sometimes it's God to pull us out of it.
Yeah. And sometimes that move is really just to like lift our head and realize he's sitting right there, you know?
Yeah.
Or like by virtue of our baptism, he's living in us all the time, whether we are receiving tons of consolations in prayer, we haven't heard from him for months or years. Like he's there. And so sometimes the movement is just to decide to accept that as true.
Yeah. The beautiful thing is we were able to talk to single women, talk to married women, talk to women who are creators, and just see from their life experience what those particular gifts, you know, of nurture and creating and protection and leadership and receiving, what those values and virtues look like in their life. And I think, especially right now in the culture, there's this almost like this struggle, like, what does it mean to be a free woman? And we're seeing in the culture, like depictions of what ideas of what it means to be free. And I think what we heard is this, we struggle to understand, what does it mean for me right now to be a woman who is living the truth and the truth of my identity. And I think that that's a journey we're each making. And some of the voices in the culture are actually telling us lies.
Oh, yeah.
You just got to name it for what it is and realize that there's a source of the truth of our identity, and it comes from our Creator. It comes from God. And in God, if we can find that source, you know, then we can almost like rest in the truth of who we are. and live from a place of peace versus contention or I've got to fight, fight, fight. And yes, granted, some battles are worthy to be fought, but to fight with the right weapons.
Yeah. And that idea of intercession, of like being there, like once we kind of are able to find ourselves in relationship with God in that way, being able to intercede for others by kind of standing in that breach together for this. You were sharing with me, Sister Tracey, a really beautiful image of especially our role as religious before we started recording. Would you want to share that?
Sure. I was looking back on some notes that I had when I was doing a course on theology of the body. And this is one of those things where I don't know if it was me or if it was something I read or something I heard. Normally, I try to give credit where credit is due, but whatever it is, if you're out there
it's true.
You coined this phrase, it's true. Yeah. But it was that as religious, we stand as sentinels. And sentinels are those that kind of keep watch, right? You're on the border or right before the wall. But the idea is that we're sentinels standing at the borders of your freedom, the freedom of other people, with the lamp of the love of God, so that the love of God is what enlightens us. And in that place, we are pointing the way and saying, follow Jesus. So the phrase was, we're sentinels standing at the borders of your freedom, your free choices with the lamp, saying, follow Jesus. And, when you think about it, that idea of giving of our lives so that others can come to know Jesus and the fact that he is pursuing each of us. And it rests like the place of what's happening, if you will, the place of activity is our freedom. Like we always have a choice. We always have choices to make. And sometimes we need light to show us the way. And the truth about our humanity is revealed in Jesus. So like, even though it didn't look good, him hanging on a cross did not look good as the way of humanity, right? Nobody wants to suffer. None of us. But somehow Jesus reveals to us that the truest way to human fulfillment is the way of self-gift and the way of service and the way of love. And love vis-a-vis the ways of our world sometimes is crucified. And that's not a fun idea.
No,
but
it's not.
What we see, right? No. But what we see in Jesus is hang on, hold on to the truth of the Father. So it's like, in a sense, he's the one holding the lamp saying, you think you know what the Father is? Let me show you. Here's some light.
Yeah. You're reminding me of the passage, I think it's in Isaiah. It's part of the 4-week Psalter for the Liturgy of the Hours. And so it comes around every once in a while where it just says, when you would turn to the left or to the right, there's a voice behind you saying, this is the way, walk in it. And of course, when the sisters watched The Mandalorian and they said, this is the way, there were like 3 of us that were like, walk in it, But
we know the rest of that line.
Yeah. But yeah, so like that idea that like when we would turn to the left or to the right, when we would start to veer off path, that God's voice would be there. And sometimes it's God's voice, speaking to us himself. And sometimes it's God's voice through the presence of someone else who's there, who knows the way, who's been down that path, who's saying, no, this is the way.
Yeah. And that idea that you were talking about earlier, that the Father always, in a sense, comes after us. It's easy sometimes when we've looked back on something or we're in something and we're like, I'm making a bad choice right now. Like, I know I'm doing something I probably shouldn't be doing or whatever.
I'm still doing it.
But I'm doing it anyway. So there you go. Yeah. And the Lord is still giving his reign and his son and his goodness to us. Like in a sense, he's returning to us because we're still alive and we're still on this earth and we're still like given the opportunity to say, okay, but today I did that yesterday, and I pour out my repentance, because that's all the Lord wants, right? Is like he doesn't want us to necessarily sacrifice fatted calves and bullocks.
No. In fact,
Right.
he's
to
said so
satisfy.
much.
He's like, enough of that.
Yeah. No,
I
no.
want your
what I want
heart.
is your heart. Yeah.
Your heart. And so can I surrender my heart, or as they say, like plunge myself into the mercy of God and begin again. Start again.
And he doesn't take our heart and like take it, but he takes it and he strengthens it and he beautifies it and he makes it more and more into his own handiwork.
Yeah.
So I guess that's my hope. Like that's my prayer actually for all of the people who've been listening to this series is just, and those who will pick up the book, just that like they would find an invitation and like a unique, tailored specifically for them invitation to just let the Lord do what he needs to do with their heart, you know, so that by becoming more and more truly his own handiwork, by letting him continue to do his work in them, that they would find that thing, that good work that he's destined for them from all eternity, that would be the thing that both brings them joy, that allows the Father to just like really just smile his big beaming smile upon them, and to bring life to the people around them. I think that's my prayer, and I think that's the invitation of a book like this.
Yeah, like seeing the Father sing over you at like a father at a wedding, you know, like just like belting out some song in the wrong tune, you know, in the wrong key, but just so happy, so happy. And I think that kind of discovery he wants each of us to make. Like he wants me to come to my own experience of him being good, of him being kind, of him only being love, and all of the other things fall away. What remains in the end? Everything will pass.
Yeah.
One thing will remain, and that's love. And the love, it remains because it's of God. It's God. So if we can find ourselves like in that, then it puts things in right perspective.
Yeah.
And it's sort of like, you know, orders things. And that's where we get the term like being in right relationship. It's like, it's not about this external kind of thing that we're trying to achieve outside of ourselves, but it's allowing ourselves to be sort of reorganized by the truth. And like you were saying, a lot of it is God's work.
I say like 98%.
Yeah, right? But we have to say yes, do it, you know. I put myself under your mission, your fatherhood, your love for me, trusting that, you know, Father, maybe in this situation, not my will, but yours be done, because I know you are good.
Yeah.
I'm excited about this book, man.
I am too.
The release date is March the 25th.
That's right. Feast of the Annunciation.
A good day to celebrate the gift of our femininity in Mary. You can order it today from paulinestore.com. And be sure that you share the opportunity with others, because this really is a gift that also, you know, maybe a Mother's Day gift to you. All kinds of people that might benefit from all the real vulnerability that's present in these letters of these beautiful, beautiful women.
Well, that's season 2 of our podcast, sister.
Yeah, it's been fun.
It has been a lot of fun. So I hear, just for the good of the people listening who are going to be wondering, that the 3rd podcast will be coming out by August.
Okay, season 3. Yay.
And in the meantime, there's going to be a lot of updates on the Patreon page. So if anybody wants to really stay in contact with us, get some extra content, ask some questions ahead of time, because that is one of the perks of on the Patreons. People can come in and ask us questions, and then there's like a little special episode that gets released, all that kind of stuff. So... and then you can also follow us on social media, and all of that will be linked in the description too.
Yay. And I mean, you never know. we might have a little extra, maybe another podcast, maybe.
I mean, I wouldn't be
Just one
opposed to-
episode, one like a little bonus episode, maybe.
Yeah, I mean, that would be fun.
I know. I think we could do it.
I think there's a lot of really cool people we could still.
I know there's so many in the books that. Oh, I was like, oh, how long? I hope we have like 1 million episodes.
I know. There's like 25 chapters. I'm like, can we get 25
know.
episodes? But
Yeah. But we will definitely be praying for the Lord to keep growing in us all of these virtues that we've talked about, and also that He might teach us how to let them all bear fruit. And also to see how He Himself is the source of that goodness, and that we would just fall in love with Him. It's all about love, man.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is. And it's all going to be a surprise, too. Like,
I know.
I'm excited to hear about all the different surprises that come out of this kind of stuff. So
Yes. But know that we keep you, we keep your families, we keep your needs in our prayers. We have, as your sisters who stand with the lamp of burning, that's our prayer, right? That's our experience of God's love for us. And so we dedicate ourselves to daily prayer. And so we keep all of you in that prayer, in that nucleus of love.
Amen. All right. So do we have a prayer to close up with, sister?
Yes, I have a prayer that was written by our founder, and it's a prayer of entrustment. So where we give to Mary, in a sense, into her maternal love, ourselves and all that we are, and ask that she would recommend us in love to her Son. So we pray, receive me, O Mary, Mother, Teacher, and Queen, among those whom you love, nourish, sanctify, and guide in the school of Jesus Christ, the Divine Master. Enlighten my mind, fortify my will, sanctify my heart during this year of my spiritual work, so that I may profit from this great mercy and may say at the end, I live now, not I, but Christ lives in me. Amen. Well, Sister Benedicta, until we meet again.
Until we meet again. I think we have a meeting later today.
Oh, we are? Okay. So we're going to be meeting again soon.
I'll see you again soon. But
okay,
for all of our listeners, we can't wait to see you again in August. You'll meet a few new hosts and some other things going on. And if you didn't listen to season 1, it's hilarious. So you should listen to season 1.
Yes.
And
definitely.
Maybe that'll tide you over until the other one comes out.
Sounds good.
All right.
God bless.
God bless you.
Thank you so much for listening. This podcast is a fruit of the Daughters Project. This initiative of the Daughters of St. Paul to spread the gospel online is made possible by our generous Patreon supporters. Consider joining us in our mission by contributing to Patreon today. You can find us at thedaughtersproject.com and on social media at DaughterSTPaul. God bless you.